Hi everyone, I'm Ali Greymond. Today I wanted to talk about a question I get asked often. I've done videos on it previously as well, is why am I getting this specific OCD thought? Why am I getting this specific OCD theme, and what does that mean? You have to understand that the brain throws you 50,000 thoughts a day. Okay, I think that's an average number. So out of those thoughts, some are going to be silly. Some are going to be really silly. That's normal. That's normal for people with OCD. That's normal for people without OCD. And they've done studies that show that people with OCD and people without OCD get the same types of thoughts. So if you're getting a thought of what if I feel like I want to kill somebody? Other people without OCD can also potentially get that thought at some point. But the problem is, what happens is when a person gets, or the person who has not gotten OCD maybe yet, but is very likely to get OCD. So they're very sensitive from birth. They take everything personally. They're very, they have heightened sense of responsibility. This kind of stuff. They get a thought, and they start, instead of saying like, it's a silly thought, they think, oh my God, what does this mean about me? Am I a bad person? What if something happens? It depends on the type of thought, right? But whatever they say as a response, that response comes with fear. So you just got one of many thoughts, but you reacted to it with a lot of fear. The brain flags that thought, no matter how silly it is. It could be a thought about a red balloon. It can be a thought about, some relationship OCD thought. It can be a thought about like HOCD, like what if I'm gay? If a person who is gay can worry, what if I'm straight? Or a person who is, for example, religious would worry, what if I'm not religious anymore? Right? So you got that thought and you started to react with fear to it. And the more you react with fear to it, the more your brain flags this thought as being important, but not just important, important and dangerous, and it gets stuck on it. The part of the brain that causes OCD, that creates these problems, doesn't really understand, not even really, that doesn't understand at all what the thoughts are about. Its job is not to understand the thoughts. Its job is to place the thoughts in the right areas, connect the thoughts to the right areas. So this thought is dangerous. Why is it dangerous? Because you taught it that it's dangerous. So now it's acting as if it's dangerous. If you do response prevention, you say it's not dangerous. And at first the brain kind of challenges you and says, are you sure? Are you sure? Let me throw it back to you again a few hundred times to see if you're sure. And you continue to resist, you continue to say, no, it's not dangerous, it doesn't matter. And the more you do this, the more the brain kind of starts to get with the program. So going back to the original question, why this thought? Because at some point when you got that first thought, it could have been just you were stressed out that day. It could have been that it really shocked you. A lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the times it comes, OCD starts. People most of the time have OCD since the beginning, but in very kind of mild forms until it really hits. But when it really hit, so it comes and goes kind of. But when it really hit you with a thought that was completely unacceptable to you, that shocked you. So it could be something somebody said, a situation maybe even you heard in the news. It could be PTSD related. It could be a positive event, such as, say a mother gives birth to the child and then she thinks, oh, what if I do something with the child? The thought shocks her. She reacts with fear. She does some sort of precaution to make sure she doesn't hurt the child, and OCD begins. So those kinds of things, right? That's the reality of how OCD goes. So you have to look at it that this situation, right? This situation is an OCD situation. This situation has nothing to do with you. Whatever thought you're getting, whatever thought you got stuck in your mind, it happened to be that thought. If religion is important to you, for example, you're gonna very likely have religious OCD thoughts. Does it mean anything? No, it just happened to be what got stuck. So it's purely kind of by chance that this happened. If that day when you got the thought the first time, you would not react the way, like, now that you know how OCD works and all of this kind of stuff, right? From listening to me, other people, whatever, right? If you wouldn't react that way on that first day, this would have never evolved into what it is now, you know? So this is just over time, the brain learned that this is important and it just keeps sending it to you just by matter of a chance, you know? Right? So looking at it that way, like, okay, well, the tape, it's just the tape, right? The tape is playing over and over again in my brain, saying things to me over and over again. And so what? And I don't care, and I don't have to listen, and I don't have to take it seriously, you know? Because you start to understand when, you know, that's why I do this channel, right? That it's like, you have to understand how OCD works, that it is just a mechanism. You know, I talk to people every single day, all day, you know? I can tell you that it's always the same thing, you know. It's, yes, the themes are different, yes, there's a lot of nuances to it, but you know, coming from a position of doing this for 10 years and seeing all of the nuances and all of this kind of stuff, you know, I can tell you it's very much, it works like clockwork, like a mechanism, you know. As long as you're doing what you need to do to show your brain that you don't care through your actions, through how you look, right? You can't look like you're not well and trying at the same time to project that you're well. You can't deviate from the routine and project that you are well. Whatever routine you have throughout the day, you have to hold that up, right? So things like that, you know. And if you project to your brain day after day after day that everything is okay, that nothing is wrong, I'm telling you, this will go away. You know, don't take it to mean that it's some higher power talking to you. It's just OCD talking to you, you know. It's not your, or, you know, like, it's not your kind of inner, you know, kind of like the higher you, the smarter you, I don't know, you know, like saying something. This is the tape playing over and over and over again in your brain. Yes, the tape feels very real because it evokes those feelings, you know. When people say OCD feels very real, it feels very real because your brain chemistry is being balanced to make it real. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, it raises adrenaline, it raises cortisol. You know what I mean? So of course you're in a fight or flight mode. Like, in fight or flight mode, everything feels very real, you know? So there's a chemical action that's happening, you know. And I can tell you that, you know, in terms of medication, I don't really see it making a dent. If I told you, if I saw any result or a lot of results, you know, I would tell you, like, just take medication, you'll be fine. It doesn't work that way, you know. Even if you could get rid of all the symptoms, it would only be temporary as long as you're taking medication. But I just don't see it. I see about, you know, 5 to 10% reduction, and in some cases that's all the person needs to push through. You know what I mean? That if they just do this, you know, if they just like reduce it by 5 or 10%, and you know, if they're not making any progress whatsoever, you know. But it's, you know, I mean, a lot of the medication stuff is unknown, and a lot of stuff that they talk about with the medication, quite frankly, is, you know, a little bit frightening, you know, with the SSRIs and the latest research into them and all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, in terms of, do I need to take medication to balance the brain chemistry? In 99% of cases, you do not, you know. Most of my clients, as they go through it, you know, they start to see that they're getting better, and, you know, they start to see that, yeah, I really kind of don't need it, and they slowly come off of it, and, you know, obviously with the help of their doctor, and they see that, you know, that they're fine, right, that they recover. You know, like I said, most of my clients recover. So this is just, you know, this is how OCD works. It's a mechanism. It got stuck on something. You need to reverse the process, get it unstuck, and that's it. And you're recovered, you know. But it sounds simple, but it's a very tedious process. So it's like, you have to put in the work every day. It's always going to grab onto the thing that you care the most. Say, for example, a person, say a young adult, right? A young adult, they're wondering, what if I'm gay? What if I'm not gay? Okay, then they got over that OCD, got married. What if I love my partner? What if I don't love my partner? Then they had a baby. What if I hurt my baby? What if, you know, whatever, right? Then, you know, the babies have grown. Say they became more into religion. You know, what if something happens, you know, with my relationship with God? You know, what if I go against God? You know what I mean? Like, this is a projection, or a progression rather, of how OCD develops. If you don't, it grabs onto the things that are relevant to you right now, the most important things, because it's trying to protect you, to make sure those things are okay, and that's how it goes. So if you're aware of it, if you see how the mechanism is, that this thought, it doesn't matter, it just got stuck, because you started to react. And why did you start to react? Because this matters to you, for example, if you're worried, like, what if I kill somebody? Because you're a very generally very good person. You might not be very responsible in like everyday sense, right? But you're a very good person, very sensitive, empathic sort of person, and it's like, what if I cause harm to somebody, or what if I say something wrong? Those are all, that's what this person would get attached to, So it's kind of works that it will get attached to the what you care about the most. So what you're opposite of doing, you know what I mean? So that's basically how it is. That's it for me today. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. If you would like to stay on this channel and watch daily videos, if you would like to do the recovery program with me, all the information is on youhaveocd.com. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.